I'll actually follow up on some of the comments that you said. Just maybe I agree to a big degree to the principles that you said, but some of the specifics are a little bit different. Last year was the first year that actually the demographics were positive. One could say it was a miracle, a blip in the demographic statistic, or we can say we had the young families got a tax refund of 600 lives versus 60. We got the free kindergartens. The incomes grew. The savings grew. Today we actually saw statistics of over 20 billion in the Bulgarian banks of higher savings. So while you're absolutely right that in these political fights, we cannot actually even congratulate us on the actual statistics that exist. Demographics for a first year were positive. Second, regional programs. For a first year in Bulgaria, we had a regional program that was not a function of which mayor is favored by which party, but it was a function of the population. If you're living in a city that is a regional, bigger population city, you get 50 million. If you're in the top 3 cities, you get 100 million of the regional program. If you're in the smaller cities, you get money per population. It's because everybody had an equal start regionally. And if you have a great mayor, and if this great mayor is from the opposition party, they get the same amount of funds as the mayor who is from your party. And you don't have to go to the cabinet of ministers and to say, Mr. Prime Minister, please, I need this money for this and this. No, by your population, you actually have the funds. It was a transformational program. Now, since last year was its first year, we have to see how well it goes, but there is a real change. The debt, borrowing for living better. That's also a political statement that's not completely true. If you guys and ladies open up the statistics on the Bulgarian National Bank and you look at debt to GDP, not only you'll see that the debt to GDP is fixed, it actually is slightly decreasing. Of course, part of the reason is because the nominal GDP grew from 130 billion to 200 billion, partially because of the inflationary period. But the reality is that debt to GDP, we did not leverage our economy more. However, I fully agree with you on the consensus. We have to create consensus. And we, as an opposition, are trying to show that for every action that the government does that's positive for Bulgaria, we'll actually support it. Yesterday was a good example. After the whole January discussion of the 18 billion deficit hole, which turned out not to be correct, the new prime minister came back to Sofia and said, I'm going to put a 3% budget with 3% deficit, 40% of the GDP to be the government expenditures. Within the day, we said we're going to support that budget. In normal parliaments, oppositions never support usually the budget of the ruling government. That's the role of the opposition. But for us, the euro entrance into the eurozone is so important that we said, no, we should not oppose it. We should support it. We should actually support the prime minister on the moment he speaks it because that makes sense. And the final point is, it's not about we are being some kind of radicals that want to just fight out there. No. The reality is change is hard. When change happens, some parties have to lose. For example, if you are part of the corrupt, funded parties of the society, you would not want to give up these corrupt funds. You want to fight for it. And it's a transitional fight. And I think maybe, and we're hopeful, as an opposition, we'll be constructive in this direction. For every supportive action, for the rule of law, for entrance into the Eurozone, for competitiveness, you see an opposition that's fully supportive. Of course, for lack of reforms in the judiciary, for continuous corruption problems, we'll be fighting really hard and there will be no consensus on that part. So I agree with the principles. The details here, I think, move Bulgaria forward, even though it was painful. And I hope we make this change forward more without the pain that we had in the last 4 years. Thanks.
Thank you.
And we missed many opportunities in the last years, not only in the 3. And also we had successes in the periods of stability, as you call them, and the stabilities today. So let us compare some of the numbers. Kirill Petkov said already, for more than 10 years, we had minus 50,000 people every year less living in Bulgaria. partially because of the mortality, problems in the healthcare system, migration, and so on. In 2023, for first year, we were almost zero. For 2024, we expect to be in a plus. It is because we increased the income, because the quality of life improved, and this accumulation, I don't claim that we have done everything, but also one thing that we should not forget. After 2007, Bulgaria was the only country in the European Union that increased the index of inequality from 33, index of Gini, to 40. And it was during the period of stability, as you call it. And during the period of instability, we decreased it back from 40 to 37, and I hope this will continue. Because this is the way to make the people to feel living better in Bulgaria and wanting to stay here and to come here. So we have to be very careful why we claim that some period was successful or not. Because in this successful period, we couldn't enter Schengen, we entered in the turbulent period. We can discuss why is that, but this is what happened. In the stable period to enter earlier the Eurozone, but we didn't. Now we have a chance, we have to use it. In this period as well, we had other opportunities that we missed quite a lot, like having an energy independence from Russia. We did it in the turbulent period, which makes us different today. In this turbulent period, actually, we supported the Insight Institute. It was in 2021 when it was established. We have to really distinguish between what is a political speech and what are the real data. And the real data show, and I can show this with the numbers, is that in the last 3 years, Bulgaria was catching up to the European standards 3 times faster than before. In a purchase parity index, we are close to 70. In the GDP, we are close to 64. And this is something that happened after accumulation. So we should not claim that political stability for sure means something better and the instability is something worse. What we can claim, and I entirely agree with you, is that if we have stability that puts the right priorities and pushes to realize them, will give us better results.
So, studying economics at Harvard, we used to go through a lot of models. And if you apply these models and you look at the factor conditions of Bulgaria, we should be the highest growing part of Europe right now. There should be convergence. There should be amazing explosion of high value added technologies. And we are not landlocked. We have access to the biggest market. We have great tourism, great agriculture, smart people. Using the Schumpeter's model, by the way, the top 2% of your people define up to 40% of your economic growth or more. So we have these conditions. So why are we not able to make it where we should be? And these are some of the things that stability will not deliver. We still have to continue to get our act together in terms of the basic rule of law. There's still a lot has been done, but a lot more has to be done. We have to keep our smartest people in Bulgaria. Actually, with Prime Minister Denkov together, we started this program with a special fund where if you get accepted into the top universities of the world, you can actually get government support to come back. And that's Schumpeter. These 40%, we should not give it to somebody else. Of economic growth, they should stay in Bulgaria. So in theory, we know what has to be done. Now in practice, we have to make these conditions align, and then I'm actually a true believer and optimist still that this growth can be achieved. So really the big idea, I fully agree, is that a great place to live for Bulgarians, but it's actually unlock the potential that we already have. Just unlock it, get it done. One thing maybe that's kind of hopeful is that competition helps. Competition helps in industry, but competition helps in politics as well. I don't know if we've done much ourselves, but one thing we definitely have done is we have created a more competitive political market. And I was very happy to hear our opponents from Gerb the other day. I won't quote the person who said it. They said, we didn't have competition, so we didn't have to try hard as much. Now we have in a very competitive environment, we have to be more cautious. So if that's the factor that was missing to unlock this big potential. I hope we have it now.